Hey class, welcome back. Today we are looking at exercise 2C, percentages calculations. Some of it is what we've done in the previous year, so you would have done a little bit of this in year 7. Some of it is a little bit new and will repeat itself next year. Okay, and we're looking at calculating percentages of amounts. We'll then also look at percentage increases and decreases. So to find the percentage of an amount, we need to convert the percentage to a fraction and then multiply this. So this is probably one of the easiest ways. If you're doing this on a calculator, the little percentage key above the bracket, so if you hit second and then I believe it's the open bracket, it will actually do that fraction conversion for you. You could also, of course, convert your percentage to a decimal and then multiply that way. But when we're calculating percentages of amounts, we need to express the one quantity as an amount of the other. So our first step, we need to make sure, of course, that, well, they're both in different units if we notice that, so centimeters and meters. So we're writing 160 centimeters as a percentage of 32 meters. So the percentage of 160 centimeters should be on the top. We're going to make sure that we convert these to the same units. It doesn't matter which you choose. I'm going to go with centimeters just because I can. So 160 centimeters, which means this here needs to be in centimeters as well. To convert meters to centimeters, we need to multiply by 100. Okay, so we get 3,200 centimeters. They both have the same units now, so we don't need to include them. And then to convert that, we need to multiply by 100, which is the same as 100 over 1. From here, it's just fraction multiplication. We can simplify. I would recommend cross-simplifying or cross-cancelling where we can. Here we see 2 zeros on the denominator and 2 zeros up here. So this just gives us an equivalent equation of 160 divided by 32, which I'll write here. Oop, that's a funny looking zero, gosh. Okay. And then from there, we calculate what 160 divided by 32 is, using any method that you like. Okay, you could use normal division if you want. You might see that this is the same as if I look at the 16, if I was to ignore this 0, you might recognize that it looks like 1/2. Okay, so 50%, but because it is it would be 10 over 2, okay, I get 5% when I simplify that, okay, or I just get 5 as a whole number. And that's all there is to that one. This one, of course, just use normal division or simplify using the highest common factor, which in this case, the highest common factor was 32. Okay, let's try another example. This time we're going to calculate 24% of 400. So, to do this, we're going to express this percentage as a fraction. I know, fractions, but they're so useful. Okay, so we're going to express it as 24 divided by 100, and then we're going to multiply that by this whole amount, so 400 over 1. Of course, we're going to cross cancel again, so we can see here that 100 is a common factor between 100 and 400, so I'll cancel out those zeros. And now I have an equivalent equation of 24 times 4, which is just 4 times 4 is 16, put down the 6, we remember to carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and don't forget the dollar sign. So $96 is 24% of 400. 2 more examples. This time we're looking at percentage increase or decrease. Okay, so we want to increase $40 by 20%. The percentage increase involves adding a percentage of the amount to the original amount. So there's a few ways that you can do this. Okay, I'm going to give you a bit of a formula to calculate percentage increase or decrease, and I'm actually going to write that down here. Okay, so the new amount is given by the original amount multiplied by 100, so the whole amount, either plus or minus. We're going to use plus if it's an increase and minus if it's a decrease. The percentage, so the amount that you're adding on. And we're going to make sure that that's converted to a decimal as well, okay? So this here, I'm going to call it, let's call it P, okay, because it's the percentage amount that we're increasing by. So increase or decrease amount. You will see this formula again in the next 3 to 4 years of your education, okay? So what that means is we're going to now substitute those into there. So the original price is $40. We're going to multiply that by 100. We're increasing, so we plus by 20%. Okay, that is the same as saying 40 times 120%. Okay, which is, if we convert that to a decimal, 40 times 1.2, and that equals, any which way that you like, $48. You can, of course, I'll flick pens for 2 seconds, just calculate 20%, or 120% probably would be better. I'm going to cancel out a couple of zeros, times 40 over 1, and that would do the same thing effectively, okay? It just involves fractions. The common factor here is 2, so that becomes a 6, that becomes a 5. 6 times 40, or 6 times 4 is 24, pop the 0 on the end, divided by 5, and then you have to calculate that, and blah, 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 blah. That still gives us 48 though, okay? So it does give you the same number. So there's 2 ways to solve the same question. Last example now, I promise, of course we have to decrease as well. So subbing it into this formula, the original price is 150 multiplied by bracket 100 plus, we are this time decreasing. So sorry, that shouldn't be a plus, it should be a minus, okay? We're decreasing, so we subtract 30%. And make sure, because these are both percentages, we put the percentage outside the brackets. That gives us 150 times 70%, or 150 times 0.7, okay? Let's use multiplication here, just to review that. So 150 times 0.7. 0 times 7 is, of course, 0. 5 times 7 is 35, carry the 3. 1 times 7 is 1, plus 3 is 10. And we've got one decimal point. Oops. 1 decimal point in the question. Obviously, we've got just a 0 here, so we'll leave it there. 1 decimal point here, so we have 1 decimal point there. And our final answer is $105, okay? You could always do that this way as well, so 70 out of 100 times 150, and that would also yield this answer of $105, okay? That's all there is to today's lesson. I know that's a lot of content. Ideally, the first 2 examples, so these 2 over here, should be revision, okay? This here is a little bit new, but it's just applying these concepts, okay? So you can calculate this, calculate 20% of 40 and then add that. You can use this formula, or you can add 20% to 100% and then multiply using this method. You could multiply using decimals, okay? Multiplying whole numbers by decimals, that also works just fine. Pick a method that you like and stick to it. I don't mind which you choose because they are all, of course, the same. But as always, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you all on a conference call very, very soon. Good luck, guys.